What Creek Indians called the Suwannee, or Echo River, flows over 265 miles in its course from the Okefenokee Swamp in South Georgia to the Gulf of Mexico, through high hardwood hammock, rocky shoal, and cypress swamp. In August 1993, I listened to some of the people whose lives were closely connected with this famous Florida waterway.
About a half mile from here, you're going to go under this 136 bridge, and then you know where the spring house is beyond that. Mm-hmm. The spring's flowing right now.
Oh, good.
But I think it's still going to be dark water when the river's been up like
On
this.
A bank near his North Florida canoe rental business, outfitter Steve Williams tells a customer what to expect on an afternoon trip down the Suwannee River.
Right now, probably looks still tangled.
Like many others who spend a fair amount of time near its waters, this river has an almost mystical fascination for Williams.
A lot of people come to the river, but you don't always know why. And me, I just made up my mind to sit here and look at it long enough till I knew why. And didn't take as long as I thought it would.
And like those who are concerned with the Suwannee's future, Williams constantly crusades against development.
When people ask me about buying a lot on the river, I try to impart the feeling that, well, now you like it here. And what makes you like it here is not going to last. If you and that other guy that asked me that 5 minutes ago both move here, and everybody puts in a septic tank, and you all put your pontoon boat out there in the river and your jet skis and run up and down the river all day long. This river is not going to be the same place if that's what you find is important about being here.
Close by, perched on a bend in the river, is the historic town of White Springs, which today has a population of less than 800. But beginning in the late 19th century, tourists came from both north and south to sample the healing properties of a flowing sulphurous spring, previously considered a sacred place by the Indians. In a cool, high-ceilinged sitting room, retired schoolteacher Virginia Daniel spreads out faded newspapers with pictures of the grand hotels and lavish homes of a century ago.
We had 4 trains a day. We had 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, going north and south in the morning, north and south in the evening. And as children, we used to run down to the depot to see who was getting off the train. And they didn't come here with a little handbag. They brought steamer trunks. And they stayed 3 and 4 months at the different hotels.
Mrs. Daniel cherishes her memories of a childhood on the river.
We used to go down this steep, steep hill right back here. How we ever got up and down there, my mother and I'd go down there and fish every day. Sometimes some of the fellows would go down to the river and they cook you a wash pot full of chicken and rice or squirrels, whatever. We had lots of gatherings on the river.
I've been fishing in that river for more than 60 years, and that river has meant a lot to me over the years because got to where I could fish the river blindfolded almost. Been in there so many times. It's just hard to explain, really, with all the good times we've had in this Suwannee River.
After retiring from his practice in the big city, Dr. Walter Jarrell moved back to his boyhood home near the Suwannee.
I tell you, the most beautiful picture I've ever seen is Jacksonville in my rearview mirror.
Like all of Florida's natural resources, the Suwannee has felt pressures from developers, increased use by sportsmen, and industry. Kirk Webster is Deputy Executive Director for the Suwannee River Water Management District.
Well, the pressures are pretty much those that have been in place for many, many years, and that is residential development. You have stormwater runoff going into the river. There's always the problem of non-point pollution from agricultural operations. The good news about the river is that we've had a land acquisition program in place. The district is a major landowner along the river. Some areas that could have been developed will not be developed because the land is in public ownership. So major steps have been taken to protect the river.
One way in which the Suwannee itself discourages development is with wild and unpredictable changes in water level, with floods of some 40 feet on record.
If you're going to build close to the Suwannee, you're going to be flooded in your lifetime. Easy, no problem.
In a small riverfront park in the town of Fanning Springs, nearly 140 miles downstream, environmental activists George and Joanne Griffith echo the views of others who oppose further development on the Suwannee River.
It's really not necessary to live on something like this. It's like wanting to live in Grand Canyon because it's a wonderful scenic place. I can't imagine wanting to live in Grand Canyon. This is something unique. And there's no reason at all to want to own it or to live on it. It's something to see and feel.
It's just something that grabs a hold of you. It's just a magnificently beautiful river that you can't help but incorporate into your soul.
What is it about this body of water that inspires so much loyalty, nostalgia, and protectiveness among those around it? Perhaps the Suwannee, with its charm, vulnerability, and unpredictability, seems to symbolize a part of the Florida experience, the way in which we think about our state. For better or for worse, the Suwannee River will certainly continue to be enjoyed, defended, and maybe even fought over for a long time to come.
And you start thinking about, well, what's really good about the world you live in, and if you take your time, you'll find it in a place like this.
Peaceful. You get peace with the world and just sit and watch water flowing, I think.
I'm Bill Dudley. Funds for this report have been provided by the Florida Department of State Division of Cultural Affairs and the Florida Humanities Council.